Hey, welcome everybody. It's what is it? It's Wednesday night. Wednesday night. I almost said Monday. And we're gonna play some D's and some D's. So welcome to the Wily Hobbit network of Dungeons and Dragons. I'll be your host and dungeon master tonight. My name is Scott, on real life terms, but here on the interwebs, you can find me on Twitter and Twitch as Wily Hobbit. So welcome. We are a little slimmer in the head count tonight. The census is taking a hit. Our good friend Ethan has had some life things, and he can no longer play games with us and play pretend on Wednesday nights. So his window pane shall remain dark. Gideon is unable to join us this evening, and Ezralyn is tending to some things and will just sort of poof in when she's able to do so. But the rest of us are here. And Time Lord's wife, thanks for lurking. Sure do appreciate that, and want to welcome the Iron Glove as a new viewer. Punch that follow button if you think of it. That way you'll be alerted to when we go live and do things on the internets. So we're going to play some Dragon of Icespire Peak, which is actually morphed into... Hey, thanks for that follow. Man, that's awesome. Thank you. Which is actually morphed into Stormlord's Wrath, which is the first of a 3 brief adventure trilogy that follows Dragon of Icespire Peak. And we are hanging out in the kind of the north central Sword Coast. The northern Sword Coast is kind of reserved for Ten Towns and Luskan and such. So we're between Waterdeep and Neverwinter, and we're playing the D's and the D's. And so let's go around and meet our characters. We'll start with Vonfolt.
Hello, I'm Matt. I'll be playing Vonfolt. Vonfolt is a human champion, specifically an archer. He is a lord of Neverwinter, and basically just likes to eat food and hang out and nap the party.
And shoot dragons till they're dead.
Yes, Dragon Slayer.
Yes. Let's never fail to remind our friends and viewers of your awesomeness there. Very good. All right. So, Tanner Seawalker. I got
Pardon,
it.
I'm used to getting my name right.
I got
Wow.
it.
Hello, friends. Hi, I'm Carl. On Discord, I'm Carnage. I play the aforementioned Tanner Seawalker, also a Lord of Neverwinter, incredibly charming half-elven swashbuckler. He witnessed Cryovan getting slain from a safe vantage point, hiding behind a column to get some dragon fear. Interesting fact about Tanner is when he left the village of Red March in search of the now famous Jade Angry Sea Bass amulet, he promised his father he would be back in 1 month. That was 9 months ago. He's in a lot of trouble.
He's just gone. He's just not back. Yeah. I'm sure they'll send somebody, looking, because I'm sure they miss you. Totally.
Don't know. I don't know if he has siblings or not.
Yeah. All right. Last but certainly not least, Jacob Everfleet.
That's me. Hi, I'm Dave. Hey, Wilson on the internets and on the Discord. If you choose to join us, also here on Twitch. I am playing. Who am I playing? Jacob Everfleet.
You are
the Halfling Cleric of the Trickster Domain, and we're going to have some fun talking to the local leaders and figuring out whether or not we'll rule the city.
That's right. So, having dispensed with player introductions and the like, let me catch everybody up with a quick recap. So the team, the company, the Looming Eye, is visiting Leilon, which is a very small settlement, as you can see by the graphic I've put up on the stream there with the map of the village. And it's been laid low for some couple hundred years now, from about 100 years, since the Spell Plague. It was laid low. The history of the town is well, maybe yet to be revealed. We'll just put it that way. But Lord Daggelt Neverember of a large city to the north called Neverwinter, has dispatched a group of people some 2 months ago or so to begin reconstructing Leilon. You can see from the map there's a road that enters from the south and departs on the north and runs along the western edge of the community there as it faces those mud flats and marshes. And that road is none other than the high road itself between Waterdeep and Neverwinter. And it's a busy thoroughfare, and I think Lord Neverember of Neverwinter, that's a lot to say, has eyes on returning Leilon to its once former glory as a fishing village, a trading center, and just an all-around nice little place to live. Unfortunately, there have been issues there. The town has recently become plagued by some misfortune, some strange attacks, banditry. There's been, most recently, loss of life. The party, as they approached Leilon, happened upon a full-out attack by a group of archers in a cart being pulled by a couple of horses, a small group of knights wearing some strange adornments, raiments, if you will, symbols of lightning bolts and things. And all the while this is occurring as they ride up, this is happening just outside of town, just north of town. They noticed in the distance as they approached Leilon, this strangely isolated patch of really severe, nasty weather, quite the thunderstorm. There wasn't a front, there wasn't a change in weather, for miles. It was just kind of over Leilon. It just kind of manifested there. And as they arrived, the villagers had fled the village because of some strange happenings on the waterfront, and our party, brave and intrepid as they are, arrived just in time to thwart the attack and make their way down into Leilon proper, only to discover that there was some strange ritual that seemed at the very epicenter of the storm. And there was this priestess with like kraken tentacles and this strange, here I'll put her up on stream, strange robes and things, calling down, almost like she was calling the storm down from the heavens. Berserkers took to the land from the water, and the battle ensued, and the party was almost laid low. Several people are severely injured, but alas, they won the day with the help of some of the Neverwinter City Watch / militia who have been sent down here under the direction of Sergeant Yoram, who's the main lead mercenary or soldier, if you will, and Griselda Copperrot, the dwarven sort of cranky, crotchety leader of the reconstruction project here in Leilon. And so it is at that point where we will pick up our game. The battle has been ended, the bodies have been looted, and so the party has been asked to meet the leaders of the small village in the second story of the fishery, which is sort of that double building you see down on the docks on the map. And there should be a map available to the party in the Discord. I can upload that if that will be helpful. And so you have about, it's early afternoon. You have about 3-4 hours to mill about town, to get familiarized with the lay of the town itself, and maybe decide where it is you might want to set up your camp. So we'll open with that. I'm gonna say that the party is kind of standing right on the high road, right above the double-eaved peaks of the fishery, kind of maybe in front of that roundish looking building that you see on the map, and deciding what it is that you would like to do. And I will go ahead and drop that map in the Discord for our players as well.
Right.
I think Dave had to step away, but he will be back shortly. We're having like this attrition situation here with our party.
I'll hold the line.
Okay.
This map is pretty. It's nice.
All right, so you should.
All right, so sorry, yeah, you said we're at, it's a fishery, like the double.
Yeah, you're kind of up on the town level, right above it.
Ah, okay.
Right,
cool.
where if you see there, the high road actually is the road that comes in from the south by that little bunch of little wagons and such that seem to be arranged in a camp. And you haven't been that far down yet. You came in from kind of the northwest there.
Yep. Oh, our wagon, the supplies and stuff. Do we know where that is?
Yes, you did manage to bring that in through the northwest gate there, the north gate, and it is situated currently on the high road itself.
Are we still responsible for it, or did we like accomplish? Hey, it's here. Deal with it.
Yeah, your mission was to get it here and make the necessary, persons aware that you've brought them supplies.
All right. So I'll hang out with Tanner.
And that necessary person would probably be Griselda Copperwrought, a female bearded dwarf of uncertain age. Very feisty, not too shabby with a warhammer, as she was, I wouldn't say instrumental, but reasonably helpful in trying to fend off the attackers. And she is still with you, and she says, "That the supplies there?"
Yes, ma'am. I believe we have everything we need.
Aye. What did Neverember send?
Let's see. These are the supplies for your rebuilding efforts. Hopefully, it'll be enough until we're able to get some more.
See. Well, it's a shame it's so late, but I understand there was an issue with the previous. We should have had this probably 2 weeks ago.
Yes, they met a bit of an unfortunate end, I'm afraid. And myself and my companions were dispatched to attempt the second delivery.
I see. So the high road has grown dangerous since I've been down from Neverwinter. We've been here, well, as you can see, and you look around in the condition of the buildings, and you can kind of see this in the map itself. There's a lot of roofs that are missing chunks or missing altogether. There's a tower that sits on a bit of a like a promontory, a rise, if you will, a rocky outcropping that has been made flat. And this tower is probably, I don't know, 4 stories high, give or take. And part of it has crumbled away, but you can see on the east side of it, there's some scaffolding that has been, wooden scaffolding that has been erected, and repairs are underway. The fishery, you can see looking down, those dark things that appear to be holes have been patched with fresh lumber. There's a fresh coat of sealant of some kind, oil, but much of the town looks to be in pretty bad shape. There is a dwelling that has been repaired to some extent. It's like due northwest of the tower, right on the corner there. On the northeast corner of that intersection. That appears to have been reconstructed, repaired. And there's a stone structure at the base of the tower there that has the symbol of Lathander painted in gold upon a whitewashed stone surface. Those 2 buildings and the fishery appear to be the only things that have been, reconstructed to some extent. The rest of the town, some of the houses are gone. Many of them have damage, caved-in roofs, missing roofs, walls tumbled in. The palisades, the wooden stockade fence, is got big sections missing, as you can see, but yet they've begun to set some of the posts. So it's definitely full-on reconstruction, but it looks like this place has been through hell. And it looks like it's been some time ago that this small town suffered whatever fate befell it. Well, we need to probably secure these supplies, get them off the road. And she gives one of those really loud whistles that I've never been able to do.
Same.
And yeah, from between some buildings somewhere, a couple of 3 or 4 people, male guys, come dressed for work. Sort of plain earth and tone work type clothes, and they come right away and yes, Griselda, yes, what is it? And she begins barking orders, see that this wagon is taken to the supply area and unloaded and stored away, and get these animals stabled. Oh yes, right away. And she could tell she's very firm and not the warmest and fuzziest of demeanors, perhaps.
Griselda, I was curious. What is the tower up there in the middle of town?
Oh, sure, yeah, that's the House of Thalavar. That's the old wizard's tower. Seems that Perhaps that's at the center of what happened to Leilon. This used to be a mining community, silver, nickel, copper, and then, of course, a excellent shipping site. The barges could come in from the Sea of Swords and load and unload, and then goods could hit the high road right from here. Also, just a nice place between Waterdeep and Neverwinter that people could stop and rest and replenish their supplies and trade and things. And an awful fate befell this town. Monsters were released from beyond the realms, and the town was laid low. All something to do with wizards and a spell plague long before my time, some 2 centuries ago. And, as you can see, and she kind of looks around. Things are not well here, but we'll have it together in time. So you say you're here on the wishes of the Lord Protector, eh?
Yeah. Sorry. I'm like examining the damage. I'm like, you said 2 centuries ago? Sorry.
Yes. Yeah, and you can tell a lot of this damage looks like old damage. It looks like weather-beaten. Just looks rough. Yeah.
So it's kind of like ruins, and then Neverwinter's just trying to rebuild off the ruins.
Yes, that's exactly correct. Yeah,
I get you.
Yeah, the town is not being constructed out of nothing. It's being reconstructed from ruins. Yes, very good.
Okay, I thought they were building it up and then it got attacked. Okay.
No. But they have had some issues since coming here, and it's no surprise. I mean, they sent some militia from Neverwinter to help protect and help with the construction, but they're mere miles from the Mere of Dead Men, that big, vast, dark, nasty wasteland of swamp that borders the Sea of Swords, and so it's no surprise that there's been some issues. The high road is not nearly as safe as it once was before the spell plague.
Well, this happened 2 centuries ago. No wonder they're so excited to get this wagon of supplies. They've been waiting a long time.
No. She shakes her head like, we've only been here a couple of months, a few 10 days, but we'll have this thing in place and we'll have it in shape. We've already had a few folks trying to ply their wares in the market square there at the south end of town. I can show you, but of course with little road traffic and dangers on the road, that was not overwhelming.
I'd certainly be keen to check out the marketplace whenever there's a chance. Yes.
Yes, so you have about 3-4 hours before we're going to conjoin the Council of Leilon and discuss what has happened and what your role will be here, and you can give us news of Neverwinter and so forth. I've things to do, but perhaps you should avail yourselves some lodging arrangements. I mean, everything here looks pretty rough. You'll not find any dwellings in any good shape, but you might find something that isn't completely inhospitable, or you can join us and camp. We have our wagons in a circle south of town, outside the towers there, outside the south gate. But whatever you wish, the least we can do is offer you whatever you wish for lodgings. Make yourselves comfortable. It sounds as if perhaps you'll be staying a while then.
I do believe so, yes.
Very well then. It would be good to have you. You quite the force when pressed into service. Very impressive. And again, and she bows low. We thank you for your help.
Oh, absolutely happy to help.
You very clearly saved us from what could have been a very, very dark day.
All right, so I guess we'll just walk around town for a bit, and so if I just spot a house, I can perhaps move into it. Is that what?
Yeah, she's pretty much find a place for the group to hole up. You could do it individually or together,
Sure.
And make your way around town, wherever you want to do. The day is yours.
Okay.
You've got about less than 4 hours. It's probably 2 in the afternoon. The council will meet for supper at 6 in the upstairs of the fishery.
Well, thank you,
Tanner's just
Griselda,
looking
for
around.
yeah.
Tanner's just looking around a bit disappointed because there's no place that quite, compares to the Moonlight. What was it?
Oh,
Moonlight Mist that we
the
stayed at.
mask, moon mask. What was that place called?
Moonlight,
Sounds about right.
Moonlight Mask, something like that.
Moon
Yeah,
ma-
he's had a taste of
Moonstone
Moonlight.
Mask.
Moonstone
Moonstone
mask. Yes. No, this is not
Yeah.
that.
I was
As I
hoping there'd be
mentioned,
a franchise here.
there is a. You can see the as you start to walk. I presume you guys are going to kind of walk around the ruins.
Yeah.
It appears that the town itself, the level that the town is on, has been excavated, or there's been an earth berm built around it. It's not clear which is the case. It looks like maybe there's been an earth berm upon which the palisade fencing had been erected. There are towers on the north entrance, towers at the south gate, although neither of those have a gate. You can see where the iron hardware is, where there maybe once was a gate.
There's
Go ahead.
two buildings. There's two buildings at the east gate, or sort of northeast gate there, that have large chimneys. What are those? Do we know?
Outside the gate?
Yeah.
That's a good question. It's kind of hard telling what they're used for because
They
they're
look
in
like-
such disrepair.
They look like foundries or something.
Could be.
Anyway, interesting. Before she leaves, I'd ask if she knows where the mines are and if they're active still, or have they been abandoned.
Oh, yeah. Copper, silver, nickel in the hills to the east.
Anyone actively there mining?
I will flip another map up on stream. And you can see Leilon just north of the Mirror of Dead Men. Those hills due east where the mountains come down near the high road. That's where she's indicating. So, Jacob, you would have passed those on your way up from Waterdeep. The high road runs right between the Mirror of Dead Men, and of course your little visit in the Mirror of Dead Men when you were rescued by the party would have brought you right near those hills, and that's where she's kind of generally thumbing her thumb in the direction of Phandalin and the hills and mountains around that region. I'm going to put that map in Discord for you all as well. There you are. So it's it's probably a good I don't know. Those hexes are 5 miles each, so probably a good 10 to 15 miles, maybe 20 miles into the mining area. Leilon doesn't appear to be depicted on this map, but it is just north of the Mirror of Dead Men, on that bend in the road. And then this whole area you can see is all mud flats west of the high road. It's all like there's little pockets of open water. It's marsh, mud flats. And Leilon is on one of those bigger open pockets of water. They don't really give you a good image of that on this map that I've just put up on stream and in Discord. But that whole area north of the Mirror of Dead Men for several hexes is all marsh, swamp, mud flats. The mining is east of the road where the mountains are, across the road from the Mirror of Dead Men.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. Right.
Well, should we look around the
Listen.
town, or should we just go right to the tower?
I'm really interested in that tower. I think that has a lot to do with what's going on here. So there's probably something useful. about it.
Likely something dangerous too. So, all right, we'll go.
Well, we'll look. Looky, don't touchy.
So you're going to make your
Break it.
way to the House of Talavar, eh?
If that's the thing in the middle with the
That's
crane on the side.
That's the thing in the middle with the scaffolding that looks to be under repair. As a matter of fact, yeah. So the plan for this is, she kind of informed you, they intend to rebuild it as a garrison, and they mentioned a fellow by the name of Gallio Elibro, who's a Rashemi middle-aged male who is a wizard who's down from Neverwinter. And he's kind of taken up residence in there while it's being rebuilt. He's in there researching and trying to uncover the history of what happened, that sort of thing. And that's all that she's kind of told you about the tower. So let me get where I want to go here in my resources.
As we travel, I'll keep an eye out for I don't know, any decent houses that look like they could be repaired.
Oh, sure.
Does wood carving lend itself to carpentry much at all?
Not really. Wood carving is more of a artisan sort of a thing, whereas carpentry is more of a utilitarian. I would say that you would understand like the hardness of woods and how to avoid splitting wood, but the skill set of carpentry, of making things level, plumb, square, all of that is a far different skill set from
Kayla.
wood carving. Sorry. Hey, welcome back,
Sure.
Kayla Esterlin. Good to see you. Hope all's well.
Yeah, hope everything's okay.
All right. So the party, Kayla, is in Leilon right now, and they seem, for whatever reason, and I've put the map of Leilon back in Discord, but apparently the tall, partially ruined, somewhat collapsed and cracked tower on the rocky crag seems to have drawn everyone's attention. And, of course, they'd like to go visit it. And so they're actually on their way to do so. They just spoke a bit with Griselda, the dwarf, who seems to be in charge, whether by appointment or self-designation. And she has asked that the party join the town leaders around 6 p.m. for a council meeting in the fishery. So you have about 4 hours. And she's also invited you to find a place to make your camp. Whether you find something that seems, kind of hospitable in one of the ruined dwellings, or you make your camp in the open, or maybe join them in the settlers' camp at the south end of town where you see the wagons circled. But at any rate, you've been, given permission or invited to make yourselves at home, as it is the least they could do for the kind of the services rendered and basically saving their butts from that horrible situation that they were in when you arrived.
It's what we do.
It's what we do. And so the party's making their way to the tower. Go ahead, Dave.
No, I'm just being a fool. Yeah. So we're on our way to the tower. There's
Yes.
There's a nice looking house just beside the path going up there. Is that intact, or is that
That
a
little
flattened-
one is actually what I'm going to decide to be the Temple of Lathander. It
Okay.
looks to be a stone dwelling, smooth walls, none of that Tudor-looking, lap, beams exposed and all that. So we're going to call that the Temple of Lathander.
Cool.
But as you approach, it's just kind of perched upon a rocky crag in the center of town. It's hard telling if that crag was something taller that's been cut down, if it was built up. You can see there's kind of a windy path that leads up there. It's very much overgrown with a lot of brambles and thorn bushes and things. The path has been cut through all of that. Hey, Jason Savoda, welcome. Good to see you, sir. But it's not been all cleaned up. You could tell very clearly that the focus has been upon getting that wooden scaffold on the eastern face built. There's a crane atop it, and you can tell that they've begun work, and the tower is looking rather rough. There's an arched entryway on the west side that appears to be the main entrance. Some of that stonework and so forth, as you can tell on the map, has collapsed. But as you ascend the tower, you see coming down the trail, that little winding path that kind of leads its way up, you see 4 soldiers, and they appear to be in some sort of a heated debate, argument. They're wearing the tabards of the Neverwinter soldiery, and one of them is a person that you recognize as Sergeant Yoram. And they appear to be not really paying much attention as they are engrossed in what appears to be a rather intense conversation as you approach. The trail itself looks to be recently hacked and stomped through the brambles and thorns. It doesn't look to be, it looks like maybe there's some flat stones here and there, but it's very, very clearly been taken over by nature, and then an attempt to reclaim it for utilitarian purposes only has been made recently.
We're pretty out in the open. I mean, there's no way they would not have seen us approaching.
You mean like from the tower?
Yeah.
Oh, you could easily be visible from the southern face. And you see there are some what look to be arched windows. It looks like a 4-story structure, but the top roof is gone and half of the wall and floor are gone. And there's a big rift down the eastern face and along the southeast corner that you can see there by the scaffolding. But the tower itself appears quiet and deserted, but for the fact that there are the 3 guards and Sergeant Yoram. And as you approach, they turn, and Yoram kind of holds his hand up. I don't recommend going up there just yet. Seems there's been some odd things happening in there. And the other 2 soldiers, 2 of them are humans, and then a kind of a small, sort of a timid-looking dwarf are standing there kind of nodding, and then you'll see him kind of start to, argue a little bit back and forth. Men, please, let me handle this. And Yoram looks...
Specialty.
What's that?
Odds are specialty. I do agree.
The scale of kobolds to all the water elementals we just fought. What level of weird are we talking here?
Yoram kind of scratches his scruffy, unshaven face, which is odd because the guards are shaven well. And every city watchman or militia in Neverwinter you saw was clean shaven, but Yoram has got like a 3-4 day growth situation going on. Well, boys, and the dwarf pipes up, hey, we seen ghosts. Yeah, we did. We've seen spirits in there. Weird things moving about. Yeah. And the one guy's like, kind of thumps him on the top of his head and pushes him. Oh, we didn't see any ghosts or spirits now, y'all. We don't have that kind of that. You've been in the stout a little too much there, wee feller. And then the other human's like, yeah, we have ghosts. We heard some noises and stuff. No, I seen a ghost, like an old man with crazy wild hair and burning eyes. I seen him. And Sergeant Yoram looks at, now, Gory, we've been through this. I don't think there's such things as ghosts. Maybe your eyes are playing tricks on you. And he just looks like he's seen a ghost. The dwarf does.
Go ahead, Kim.
Does the ghost you saw, did he resemble the guy in the robe that was traveling with us for a while?
Gory looks at Yoram. I don't know who you mean. I never seen you before in my life. We've been up here working on the tower, and all this weird stuff's been happening, and so we beat feet out of there. Yoram kind of holds his hand up. You mean that weird skinny guy?
Yes, that weird skinny guy.
Doesn't sound like that's the same guy, no.
Okay. Well, one, ghost spirits and all that nasty stuff is real. Damn near killed a few of us. But if you want us to look at it, we can look at it. You know, like I said,
Well, I don't know.
specialize in weird.
I'm a little nervous about any, just like lay people going up there, without protection. And my men here are certainly rattled by the experience. And the one guy the human looks over to him and Kaz, you rattled? No, Erlem, I ain't rattled. Hey, I'm rattled indeed. Yeah, and the dwarf pulls out a flask, and Yoram grabs it, screws the top back on, puts it in his belt. No drinking. You're on duty. Hey, well, I'm off duty now because I quit. And he stomps on down the hill. And Yoram just... Man, it's tough to find brave souls. Isn't it? And he kind of looks around. Clearly, trying to be the, sergeant man-at-arms guy in front of these two guards over whom he, has authority. And you can kind of see Erlem, kind of roll his eyes, Kaz looks down.
So, Kayla, just for reference, we haven't actually had a long rest yet from the last battle, so we're in generally rough shape. Carl,
Take back my statements.
We just came up to take a look. I think we may want to get a long rest at some point, but this is too good to pass up.
Rest or a lot of healing.
Yoram thumbs his thumb towards the tower. Now, I know old Galilio's probably still up there, the wizard. He's been sort of taking up residence in there. I don't know. They sent him down here from Neverwinter to... He's a wizard, They know stuff that you and I don't know, probably don't need to know, probably don't want to know. But I'd say old Elebro is up there. Galileo. We haven't seen him leave. And you guys, when did you last see him? And Erlem and Kaz look at each other. Oh, this morning. Came down to take his tea like he usually does, and then went back up to his study. Yeah, we don't see him much. He doesn't say much. He's kind of a creepy old fella, but yeah.
Most wizards are.
So, this merits investigating, I think. Tomorrow, get some rest. Recoup.
Kaz kind of looks at you guys. I will say that some of my tools going missing. And some of the work we've done looks like it's been undone. Like damage. Vandals. But I didn't see no ghost. I think that little dwarf has been into the stout a little bit too much, if you know what I mean.
Most dwarfs I know could drink both the under the table.
Hey, indeed they could. Yorm kind of smiles. I'll have a word with Gory. He'll be all right.
Well, I think we'll take our leave for the moment and maybe just go find a place to rest up. It's been a rough day.
I think that's probably a good idea.
Yeah. Vonfal's just patting down some of his scrapes, seeing if any of the blood still sticks to his hand. Yeah, all right. We should get out of here.
All right, then. And Yoram kind of stays behind while everybody starts to move down the trail, and he brings up the rear bravely.
Good, you're a good man, Yoram. Tanner's kind of looking around at all the wrecked houses nearby, structures, which looks like at one time would have been one of the more, the fancier ones.
It's pretty much like size, the bigger the house, probably the more wealthy or influential its owner or builder was. A lot of them do have, roof issues, some walls caved in. Let's see, if I'm looking at the map of Leilon, which is up on stream, golly, they're looking pretty rough, aren't they? There's a couple of houses around. If you look on the south end, right near the south gate, there's an arrangement of dwellings that form a sort of a circle or almost a triangle with a lane that runs into the middle. Looks like maybe there's a well situated in the middle. I would say the two houses on the east side of that look to be in fairly hospitable. Like you could probably make something out of that in pretty short order. You might have to tarp a couple holes or, get some lumber up there and tack it down in case it rains. But, the windows are all blown out of, gone. But it looks like those would probably have some dry corners and, you might have to get some rodents or whatever out of there. But those don't look like they're in any danger of collapse, and they seem to have, be among the lesser damaged of the dwellings.
What about that cool tower that's got the broken dome on top of it, just slightly northeast or northwest of that?
Yeah. Has like the 4-5 little alcoves off of it. Yeah, aside from that broken dome and the cracks in the tower, it looks like the rest of the roof is complete. You could certainly look into that as well.
Yeah, I'd like to see which of them are the sturdiest, not going to fall over.
Okay,
This
well,
next to it's not bad either.
the round one?
The one to the right.
Yeah, it looks like the north end of it's got some. Oh no, that's the gable. There's a lower. Okay, yeah, no, that one looks okay too. Just again, wherever you see those little jagged, those are probably indicating cracks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that area right there doesn't look all too bad either.
Yep.
And I know that circle of homes, that's kind of the marketplace that Griselda alluded to. So you would assume that there would probably be some early morning traffic and sounds in there, if any merchants or vendors come up the road and decide to set up camp or set up business in that area. So you may not want to be in there necessarily.
Sure. I don't know, that tower with a dome on it looks kind of cool.
You'd have to probably do something with that upstairs, but yeah.
Let's check it out.
So you're going to the tower building there?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so it's not that long of a walk, obviously, to get to that. Let me check something here real quick. Let's see if it gives me a distance key. It does not, but you can get the sense from the map that everything's, it's not a large community at all.
No.
So yeah, the entrance to this, you can see those kind of arched steps on the south-facing, smallest little, I guess, alcove that looks like it might be the entry, the vestibule. There's an arched doorway that's wooden. It's loose, not fully clothed. There's kind of a crack or two in the door. It's hanging ajar. It looks like it definitely could use some carpentry attention and be tightened up. But the doors are on the hinges at least.
Oh, open it up and go on in.
Yeah,
Get my sword, poke around.
Okay, yeah, it opens up. It's not locked or anything, and it's dark in this space. To the left, you see a larger open area that's got some daylight coming through that window. It faces west. There's a building that faces southeast. You get in there, and it opens into a big round open area. And there's a staircase along the wall that goes in, disappears through a hole in what must be the second story. And the ceiling looks to be intact. You can see some cracks in the walls of the tower section and in some of the walls of the four, axes, I guess, the four alcoves, wings. And they all look big enough that you could certainly set up your own personal space in there, each of you individually, and maybe leave the center open as a common space, cooking space, whatever. But it's empty. It's bone empty. It's dirt floor. It's musty. There's not even much debris in here. Cobwebs. You see scat and such from various animals. It needs cleaned out. But nothing that a couple of hours and four, strong-willed, strong-backed adventurers couldn't get kind of swept out and tidied up. There's even in the west wing, there's even I'm going to say, it doesn't show it on the artwork, but I'm going to say there's a hearth in that west wall with a chimney. So you could put a fire there, and that maybe looks like sort of a kitchen-y space. That could be, you could set that up as a food preparation type area if you so chose.
Any indication, anything on the walls that might indicate what this was?
You know, everything is so dusty and dingy. It's hard telling what it was. Maybe it was a temple at one point. There's like no furniture in it. Everything that, assuming would have been in it, is either decayed and gone or stolen. It's literally empty.
I'll set about to cleaning it up and making it livable.
There is some light coming down the hole in the ceiling where the stairs kind of cling to the wall. You've seen those kind of spiral stairs that follow the curve and up the wall. And it looks like there's probably natural light, you would assume, from the damage to the dome.
Better make sure that no one's falling upstairs. Tanner will go up the stairs.
Okay, yeah, so you go up the stairs.
Before I start up, I'll kind of like check them, make sure they don't appear to be like rotted and about to slap.
By what means would you do that exactly? Like, describe for me how you're checking the stairs, and I think I'll have you roll like an investigation while you're doing that.
Ooh,
Get some die rolling happening here.
rolling dice. That's what we do in this thing. That is a 16.
Okay. Yeah, some of the stairs look a little suspect, but there isn't a number of stairs missing to where you couldn't just not step on them. You could step over them to a more sturdy step and make your way up there. But there's a couple there that you're kind of thinking like, yee, maybe not.
I will skip over the maybe not ones.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, they creak, and you definitely get that kind of stop and like, oh shit, is this cool? But you manage to wind your way up. You just going to go right up into that upper level, or?
When I kind of get to the point where my head can kind of peek up and see, make sure there's like not feet and a sword or anything about to come down on my head, kind of situation.
Okay, roll a d6 for me.
A D6?
Yeah, I think that's a nice dice.
Where does
the square one?
I'm trying to get it to. There we go. I got a 1.
A 1, yeah. So you stick your head up, and much to your surprise and possibly your chagrin, a furry blur of black and brown and fur comes at you with I don't even know, it's a chattering kind of a sound, and kind of gets on you. And it's kind of like bigger than a football. And it's definitely thick and full and real and alive. And it attempts to bite you as you now see the masked face of a raccoon coming at you. What is your reaction?
Oh, I mean, what do I do?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm like, your reaction. Oh, that's not a roll. I will probably go, and I will try to just fling it off me.
Okay. Roll me a con save.
A con save?
Actually, a werecoon. It's a werecoon.
Roll for lycanthropy.
Yeah, give me a con roll. Add your bonus.
Yeah, I did. I got a 5, so now I'm aware raccoon.
Okay, so you're definitely startled and afraid, and so I'm going to have you make a dex roll.
No problem.
And I'm going to give you a DC 14 to remain on the steps and not begin to tumble backwards.
Is that a dex saving throw, or is it a dex roll?
Dex roll.
Just a dex roll, okay.
Yeah. You are certainly free to use your racial bonus to that.
I got a 19.
Yeah, so you kind of catch yourself as this thing chitters and comes at you, kind of foaming and trying to bite you. It rolled a 1 and missed you. And it is now scurrying down the stairs. So all of you see this as Tanner sticks his head up there. And a very large raccoon came at him, came down the hole, down the stairs. You saw Tanner kind of jump back and gasp, but you managed to keep your footing on the stairs. And this raccoon is bolting down the stairs.
Incoming.
We'll show at the door.
Yep. This is gonna. All right.
Try and herd it out.
Yes.
Okay.
Kinda.
Yeah. We'll dispense with the detail on that. Just sufficient enough to say that you managed to, the front door was open and you managed to chase it in that general direction, and it finally finds its way out. Tanner, what do you do there, perched upon the upper reaches of the rickety staircase?
I'm going to catch my breath. Then I'm going to draw a dagger before I continue on up. And then I will continue on up.
Seems reasonable. Okay. Yeah, you see up here what looks to be the remnants of a couple of sleeping pallets, hay, that sort of thing, and a nesty sort of a arrangement. Lots of scat, bones, the smell of, like kind of rotted organic material. It looks like you've kind of found this raccoon's little den. And the floor up here seems reasonably solid, although it's pretty warped and cracked in places. It's wood planking. And it doesn't look incredibly trustworthy. Like there are no holes in it. There's none of it that's missing. But again, you look up in that dome and it's open to the elements. And it looks like at one point there's like a balcony accessible by stairs that faces the west. And it looks like maybe that dome might have been the kind of thing that you could open like a viewing thing and look out over the mudflats to the west. But at this point, nothing looks stable enough it looks a little janky up there. The ends of some of the planking are curled up and split, and it's weathered, and it's got debris and, twigs and sticks from the nest, bits of cloth. And that's about all that's up there. There's what used to be like a trapdoor laying beside the hole that's all, split and broken in pieces, and the hinges are half gone and rusted away. And it's looking, this section has definitely been open to the elements, which explains why some of the steps below are a little bit curved and warped. There's water stains down the wall near the trapdoor where it's rained in.
Well, given my current health, I'm not too keen on testing the realm of jankiness right now, so I will go back down the stairs.
Yeah, that's
sure to avoid the stairs that look janky.
Yeah,
also.
that's no problem. That is an RPG Dungeon Master official terminology, janky.
It's canon now. I will tell everyone that aside from our furry friend, it appears to be we're the only ones here, and the upper floor looks janky.
I guess I'll go about checking out that hearth and getting everything, secure for moving into that room for the night.
Okay. So you guys decide this is your place you want to hang out, you think?
Yep.
Kind of your base of operations for now, at least? Okay. So really, you've just got, some time ahead of you that you could spend maybe sweeping this thing out, cleaning it out, whatever. I don't know if you want to try to wash some things, get some water from down below, whatever you want to do. You could spend time doing that. However you want to do it. It's all up to you. Just let me know what you're doing.
Jacob, you wouldn't have any spells that would make this easier, do you?
I have something better.
That.
And Jacob sets his back to one of the far walls. And
As soon as I see Jacob putting his back to the wall, I'm about my back to the wall too.
you may want to stay out of the way. Pulls out an elaborate looking decanter and says under his breath the word Kaiser. And a massive stream of water just comes shooting out, flushing out all the dirt and crap out of the floor area, out the door, and he uses it like a giant power washing hose.
Wow. Man, that is awesome. Decanter of endless water.
I forget where we picked that up, but yeah.
Role.
I've been waiting to use that.
Yeah, I mean, you can hose down the walls and get them back to like bare. You start to do this, and you can see that the thing was like paneled inside with wood. That's all kind of cracked and split and moldy, but you can get the surface gunk off. The floors are actually gravel, packed into stone, so you can actually, wash a lot of the looser stuff. So you haven't actually created a mud hole, thankfully, in your new dwelling. The pressure of all that water coming out has, washed down the insides. There's some standing water now that you've flooded the place a little bit. But you've revealed that this thing has like a gravel floor, and you've cleaned it enough to see that at one point it probably had a wooden floor in it, because you could see remnants of that around at the baseboards, but it's all rotted away, assuming from years, decades, 2 centuries of being open to the elements. And you do open up and see and make more visible some cracks around, some structural cracks. Nothing looks like it's gonna be in danger of imminent collapse, but the cleaning has definitely revealed that this thing is in a little bit rough shape.
Yeah, we'll try to keep the water pressure to a minimum. That's the best I can do. I'm pretty much tapped for spells. Been thinking about what to put into the request line, if you will, with dear old Brandabaris, to see what will help with the cleanup and building. I'm thinking maybe we need some mending here and there, but I thought a little power cleaning would help out a little bit, and then we can rest up, maybe to set up some hammocks, keep the doors and windows open for a bit to air the place out. Well, we'll have to make sure that coon doesn't come back, yeah? And then on the morrow, I think we can go and check in on that tower where the dwarf thought there was a ghost, and maybe see if there is a ghost or if it's just a crazy old mage.
Well done, my friend.
So you're gonna...
It's a little worrying what happened to that tower. It looks like all the east side sort of blew out. If the stories are true that it was part of the spell plague and the blue fire, that's worrisome, that there was something in there that would cause that kind of reaction. More worrisome that there's a mage there again trying to dig up old secrets that maybe are best not dug. Especially if it led to the Mere of Dead Men. Yeah, Kayla, I know that you and I were both in there. That's no place to laugh at.
Should probably get going to that meeting tonight, and maybe we'll find out exactly what a spell plague is, or was.
Well, spell plague was the blue fire. Spells went awry, magic went south, north, east, and west, all the different directions. Chaos, it was many, many, many other things as well. Gods sent down from the heavens above to walk among men. It was a time, apparently, from what I heard. I wasn't there. Past my age, but you hear stories. The faithful don't always let anyone forget what happened. No one's for sure knowing, but it wasn't a good time. And magic went awry. That's for sure. I imagine it's probably getting close to the time of that meeting as we're cleaning and having a conversation and getting some food ready.
Yeah, sure. And they did say that they were going to feed you dinner.
Oh, well, there you go. Always good for someone else's hospitality.
So you all are going to make your way to the fishery then, is that correct?
That's correct. We'll probably be served fish.
It's entirely possible. Okay, so you make your way to the fishery. And again, that's the double-gabled building down on the waterfront on stilts. The only real repaired facility down there. The rest of them are in pretty rough shape.
The ones that look like birdhouses on stilts.
Yeah, those are the ones.
Okay. Cool. It's not far from where we're at.
Okay, so you go in, and they don't really show an entrance there, which seems kind of, they look like birdhouses, yeah, like you said. But at any rate, we'll just make sure that there are entrances. And there's a stairway that leads upstairs, and you can hear some voices talking in it. You can see barrels full of dried fish, crates. It smells of fish. You could see cleaning stations. This fishery has been made functional once again, much smaller scale than its former glory days, but the fishing has been good, and trade has begun to dribble forth from the waters of the murk and the marshes. But you do smell, along with the smell of dead fish and fishness, cooked food. So that's a happy thought. So you heading upstairs?
Yep.
Very well. So you make your way upstairs, and you see some familiar faces seated around a simple round table. Kind of in the center of the room, there's a table under the windows that overlook the water that is fairly groaning under the weight of what looks to be a simple yet savory meal. There's cooked fish, there's dried meats, there's cheese, there's breads, there's some sort of a porridgey soup thing type stuff. And you see in there already started eating Griselda. You see the female halfling priest of Lathander, Marigold Brightshine. You see the female half-elf Valdi Estapar, the person who runs the fishery. And you see Sergeant Yoram, all already eating. And Griselda holds up a drumstick of some sort of poultry and, load 'em up, boys. Dinner served. When you fill your plates, there's cheap wine and decent ale, and of course all the water you can shake a stick at. And she kind of goes back to eating. She drags the poultry leg through that porridgey looking stuff in a bowl in front of her, and they're all eating, and the halfling Mary that she goes by, she rises and walks over. Welcome to the Council of Leilon. It is good to see you, and we are most grateful for your service earlier today. And we seek your wisdom and the news from the north. So please avail yourselves a meal, and I'll recount the blessing of the Morning Lord. And she looks over and clears her throat. I'll recount the blessings of the Morning Lord. And they all stop. And like Griselda's got porridge dripping from her, and Yoram's got some sort of leafy vegetable hanging out of his mouth, and Valdi's just kind of sitting there smirking, kind of shaking her head. Very neat, all in what looks to be sort of fishing gear, sort of rubbery pantsuit overalls, suspenders, kind of a thing, with a woolen shirt, but very neat and tidy.
I guess I'll start loading up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you see cooked fish, roasted fish, again, dried meat. There's some baked potato, maybe, wrapped in something and put in the fire, cooked that way. There's this porridge that smells sort of like pumpkin-y. Think like some kind of a grain and pumpkin. Think maybe like pumpkin risotto, something along those lines, but much more rustic than that. Something that was probably cooked in an iron kettle over fire. There's hard bread, cheese. Help yourselves.
Yeah. So I'll make a plate that's fair for the servings, and then head over to the table. This will fit all of us at least.
Yes, the four of them are seated around one sort of part of the ark, and there's 5-6 seats. It's a good sized table. Where you could all sit easily with plenty of elbow room. There's wine on the table. There's a small cask on the food table where you could fill a tankard with ale. Yeah.
Just park on the edge adjacent to one of the people who are already there. Just, ladies, Sergeant, sit down, just get ready.
Good to see you again. Good call deciding against going into the House of Thalavar. It's going to be getting dark, and from the sounds of it, it doesn't sound like that's probably the best time of day to enter there, says Yoram. And you see Valdi Estapar kind of roll her eyes like, wives' tales. Stories of wizards. She raises her glass. To our new friends, what did you say? Do you have a name? Who are you? A company of sorts?
With the company of the Looming Eye.
Company of the Looming Eye. Well, to your health. Thank you for your help. We would have lost the day had you not come upon the scene when you did.
Raise a glass of wine, just a little sore.
Yeah. Marigold Brightshine, the priestess of Lathander, stands at the serving table where all the foodstuffs are and waits until everyone has filled a plate and taken a seat, at which point she comes over to the table and lights a couple of candles and says, "If we could please." And she looks around very directly mostly at the leaders of Leilon, and they all kind of stop eating, and of course Valdi's just sitting there waiting for all this to unfold, kind of with a smirk on her face, like this happens every time. Have to get the uncouth people to stop eating for a blessing. And when all attention is upon her, she bows her head. Let us thank the Morning Lord for his blessing on this day, for saving us, for bringing these battle-tested heroes to our midst, the company of the Looming Eye. May your paths ever be brightened by his light and his blessing. And let us enjoy a meal in fellowship and share what we know, that one day we may make this place thrive again under the watchful eye of the Morning Lord. And she raises a tankard of ale. To the Morning Lord. She looks around. Kind of leans in.
To the Morning Lord.
Morning, Lord.
Takes a big drink from her tankard and sits on a taller chair so that she may be at the same level at the table as everyone else. Jacob, there are a couple more of those in the room. If you wish to grab one and make sure that you're not kind of sitting there with the table at eye level. I feel like that would be a little uncomfortable.
A high chair, you're saying? A booster seat?
A taller chair that would be more suitable for the less heightened among the group.
I'm going to buy a saw at some point and just show everybody what a proper table height really is.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
Load up the food, get some wine, bite my tongue while the blessing's going on. Mutter my own blessing under my breath. And just generally enjoy the evening and listen to what people have to say.
Okay. So as you're eating, Marigold, and she's eating just some bread and cheese, very simple meal, not a lot of food. Yoram has got an over full plate, as does Griselda. Valdi has a glass of wine and some dried meat, some cheese and some bread. And Marigold looks at Vonfeld. Are you in need of healing?
I look at Jacob. That's little bits, but nothing I can't sleep off, I suppose.
I could tend to you once we finish. If you're not feeling so poorly that you don't need my attention now, we could certainly get you squared away now. But if you're okay, we could wait until after we take counsel.
After be fine. I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Very well. Anyone else in need wounds that need to be tended, or blessings I could possibly bestow on behalf of the Morning
Tanner
Lord?
looks like he's on his last leg, I think.
Tanner would sort of be looking around his battered, bruised body. And if it's not too much inconvenience.
Before you finish the sentence, she's at your side. Please close your eyes. Let us all take a moment and close our eyes and just be present as Lathander works his blessings of healing and life. And she places 2 hands upon you. And you hear her very faintly, just kind of the whisper sounds of something spoken. You can't really discern what it is she's saying. And you immediately, having been healed with healing magics before, feel the warmth of healing begin to emanate from her small hands and work its way through your body. And you begin to feel things that were broken knit, wounds that were laid open begin to mend themselves. And go ahead and roll second level cure wounds. Is that 2d8 plus 4?
2d8
Jacob?
plus 4.
Yeah.
Yep.
So 2d8 plus 4 healing as she's cast cure wounds upon you at the second level.
Feel raccoon wounds.
I didn't take any raccoon wounds. It's more drowned by water elemental, bashed by dwarf, thrown against me by water elemental, and I heal 9. I'm feeling a little
Raccoon
better.
wounds.
Did you see the size of it?
It was big.
She takes
I
your
will thank her
hands
for
in
her-
hers. Yes. Is that better? Is that sufficient? Will that at least get you to where you can sleep and rest this evening?
Yes. I thank you greatly.
Yes, of course. Donations are always welcome at the temple. And she smiles. But certainly not compulsory. Would anyone else benefit from my ministrations?
Is Iodi with us?
Yeah, Iodi is with you. Iodi is just very quiet because Iodi is the player who operates Iodi is not with us. That would be Gideon.
Yes. But Iodi is if the
Oh.
overlay is any indication, is
Yes.
just as badly off as
Yeah,
Tanner.
so she will come over and much the same. And he or she, Iodi, will kind of close her eyes and nod gruffly, kind of grimacing when he moves. Maybe a couple of cracked ribs and such. And so, much the same process. You witness her go through the ritual of healing Iodi for 15, 6 and a 5. So thanks for speaking up on that. I will update Iodi's character sheet. And she returns to her seat. She looks at Ezralyn. Miss, how are you faring?
I'll sleep this off just fine, thank you.
Very well.
Ezra's pretty battered, kind of bruised. She's got a split lip, all that stuff, but she's not enough that she can tolerate people she doesn't know touching her. So she'll sleep it off.
Very well. All right. So dinner is enjoyed. Feel free to have your conversation with with the Council of Leilon. Seems that right now Valdi and Marigold are content to eat and listen and sit back. Griselda and Yoram apparently are somewhat distracted by and engrossed in their meal.
So what's popping? What's the priorities for Leilon?
Yeah. Hey. Griselda looks up, kind of wipes her mouth off, takes a big swig from the tankard, hops up, walks over to fill it. Safety. Safety's first concern. And she kind of looks over at Yoram and shakes her head and rolls her eyes behind his back as he kind of obliviously continues to eat, albeit he's at least paying attention. We need to keep our people safe. We need to survive the wilds and the strange happenings that have been occurring lately. And, it seems you've come at a good time. And we could use clearly your expertise in helping us because, and she sits back on the table and she's on a little bit of an elevated seat as well, being a dwarf. And it seems that our sergeant here and his team of soldiers, apparently they didn't send Neverwinter's finest. And she grabs a heel of bread and throws it at him, and he just kind of scowls at her and doesn't say anything. So safety, certainly first priority.
Well, it's a priority, but what are you trying to accomplish here? I mean, this is rebuilding, but
that's exactly it. She kind of leans back and pulls out a small wooden pipe, sets a pouch on the table, packs it, lights it, blows some smoke, sits back, kind of scratches her belly. Well, seems the Lord Protector has designs on this being a trade location again, for the betterment of Neverwinter and the region, of course. She says, almost maybe with a little disdain, suspicion. So he's got us down here making repairs and opening things to merchants, getting the fishery started once again. And that seems to be his primary aim, eh?
Lord of Neverwinter's not here, though. What about y'all?
What do you mean?
You share the notion, or are you taking a liking to turning it to your own devices? I mean,
we're free to earn, from the sale of whatever, but we do need to send 10% north for the benefit of protection and supplies and the like. And he's been quite forthwith when it comes to supplies, although the timing hasn't been good. But apparently there's been trouble on the road. What befell the caravan?
Oh, well, that's a story in itself. It actually happens to be our troop that found the last shipment. It came. The company that was moving your goods got ambushed.
Oh no!
Bugbears, Ogrelons, shape changers.
Wow. Yoram kind of looks up with this look, like when you say like shape changer, Ogrelon, almost a look of fear in his eye.
Yeah, Jacob will sort of catch his eye and look over at him. You should be worried. They were brutal, raw, elemental.
He looks at you, but you dispatch them, right? They're no longer a threat. Where did this encounter happen?
I was trying to remember. I think it was north of that turnoff from Fandolin, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
So it was between, what was the name of that?
The Wayside Inn?
The Wayside Inn. Between the Wayside Inn and Neverwinter, about a day's travel. It was an established ambush point as well.
Yeah. The high road is no. It's not for the faint of heart north of the Mere of Dead Men here. We're in a wild territory. It's nature's reclaimed it, and it's not just the overgrowth. Yeah.
I think there's more than just nature at work. If you know what I'm saying. I've been in the Mere of Dead Men, and there's nothing natural about that.
Never been in there myself, but I've heard it's a frightening place. We've had some strange things been happening here most recently. Of course, today's events, but now this business in the tower. And Griselda kind of looks over and kind of thumps him. What do you mean, business in the tower? You didn't mention any business in the tower.
Yeah, do tell. Like, what are these strange things?
Yeah, well, the conversation we had just a little while ago, and he looks at the dwarf and he kind of pushes her back. I haven't had time. I've been busy. I have things to do. I got men to command. I've got rounds to make. That's why I planned on sharing it here at the meeting, and he kind of sasses her back a little bit, and she listens to him and seems satisfied with his excuses. And so 3 of my boys were up on the 3rd floor doing work in the House of Thalavar. As you know, we mean to turn that into a garrison, a watch point. It's the tallest dwelling. And he takes on this air of importance as he begins to tell the story. And by all accounts, according to Gory, and at the name Gory, you see Griselda kind of roll her eyes and snort, take a big draw off of her pipe and blow a wad of smoke, and it just kind of floats over Yoram. And he's like, they at least Gory anyway, he seems to think that the place is haunted. He seems to think he saw a ghost, and he kind of flinches a little bit from Griselda. Now, I told you there's no such thing. We've heard tell of that around here before, and I don't think that's... I think that Gory's been a little hard at the flask, if you know what I mean.
Well, don't
And
say there's no such thing as ghosts, because there are.
Well, I ain't never seen one, and I don't believe in them.
Oh,
Something else probably explains it. Creaky floors. It's an old structure. There's cracks. And Yoram kind of interrupts her. No, there's some tools have come missing. There's been some damage done to some of the repairs. Definitely something's going on over there. Strange noises, whispers. The other two, they're a little skeptical of the ghost story, if you will, but Gory, the look in his eye.
Sightings.
Oh, there's raccoons all over this place. Gory seems to think he's seen an old man with, described him like crazy wild hair and like a strange light in his eyes, but it wasn't a person. It was this ghost. But Earlham and Kaz, they didn't see that, and they think Gory's as nuts as I think he is. Griselda kind of nods and grunts. Hey, that he is. Yeah, for sure. So that's Galileo spends all his time over there. I don't go poking around in the business of wizards. I know better. I may not be the smartest man, but I'm not so dumb that I'd go incurring the wrath of a strange wizard.
is your wizard intending to take up space in your garrison tower?
No, it'll be a garrison. But he's in there doing some research. There's a lot of strange things happened here long ago, and some of it was centered on that House of Thalavar. That Thalavar is the name of the wizard that built that. And Galileo, he's a Rashemi fellow. He's in there trying to figure out what he can learn about what the origins of that tower and maybe what part it played in the laying low of Leilon here when the cursed spell plague befell us all. And Griselda kind of rolls her eyes as, this talk of wizards and strange things in the tower and spell plague and...
Well, when you put a wizard in a wizard's house, you're likely going to get trouble. Anyone thought to have this Galileo just come on out and not bother with what's going on in there and let the workers work? It seems like a bit of an intrusion to have.
Valdi smiles. She drains her wine glass, sets it down. Well, seems that old Galileo, he's just a quiet one. He comes to our meetings. We meet once a week up here, our council. It's him and us. But he's pretty quiet. Something about a planar beacon. And Griselda's like, oh, yeah. And Yoram nods and kind of shrugs. Seems this Thalavar built this tower and had this planar beacon that something about contacting other planes. I don't know. I fish for a living. Keep it simple. But something with that went awry when the spell plague hit. And all the creatures that it was contacting or something showed up. They were right here in Leilon, and they destroyed the place along with the spell plague. They killed most of the people that were here. And this place has been abandoned ever since. Yeah, that was over 100 years ago. Seems that Thalavar was here for quite a long time before that happened, but the wizard disappeared. Most of the people of Leilon, they were killed or fled, and the place has been deserted. And so, first thing that happened was when the soldiers come down, as they destroyed what was left of that planar beacon. And Galileo's up there trying to figure out what happened, but he doesn't say much.
More than likely trying to figure out how to recreate it if I know mages. They can never leave well enough alone.
There was a bunch of heroes here once before. Back when the spell plague came, the Swords of Leilon. There's a It's a painting of him over there. Oh, in the little shop. And they died defending Leilon, but they bought time for a lot of people to escape. And they took out a bunch of those monsters, but it's a bad situation all the way around. And that's what I know. And all the while as Valdi's telling this story, and again, she's very plain spoken, half elf, female. Again, dressed kind of neat, keeps her hair, dark hair, kind of tied back. Her features probably favor a little more of her human side than her elven heritage. She doesn't quite have the almond-shaped eyes, but she's got the higher cheekbones, some delicate features. Her hair is like jet black, sort of like Native American jet black, very, very dark. Kind of nice luster to it. Pretty long, but it's all pulled back and out of the way. And the whole time Valdi's telling this story, Marigold is almost like checking off the items visually, like yep, mm-hmm, and nodding and drinking from her tankard, as Valdi kind of recalls the history of Leilon.
You had any trouble coming up from the Mirror of Dead Men, or is it just the stuff we've seen recently with the weird cultists? And
Yoram shrugs. That kind of, most of what we've told you sort of brings us to where we are now. And this situation that happened today down at the water with that kooky, ritual or whatever that was, priestess. I don't trust those folk much. And Marigold kind of looks over in this little twinkle in her eye. Really, you don't? And she kind of rubs his arm. That's a shame. I'll keep working on you. He kind of shrugs away from her, like, don't touch me.
Jacob will also shoot him a guarded look. With that, Jacob is going to start, sort of start a little bit, just sit back a moment and then realize something, and then he's going to start looking around at each of the people and see if they're sporting any jewelry with stylized lightning bolts on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead and roll perception, Jacob.
I'm looking for the symbol of Talos.
Right, the 3 sort of parallel lightning bolts in some fashion. Yeah.
That's the one.
That's the one. I know the one. Yeah, you've seen that a few times now. You saw that on the knights. You saw that tattooed on the berserkers. You saw it all over in the stitching, the fabrics of the robes of the priestess. You saw it in the Wayside Inn on the damn it, the what do you call that? The smithy, the female smithy up there at on her bracers and on the suits of armor that she had built. Yeah.
We also saw it, I think, at the ambush of the shipment that we just brought.
Yeah, crude versions of it on the shifters. Yeah.
So I got a total of 17 on that.
Yeah. So as you look around, they're all, with the exception. Okay, so Yoram and Griselda look like they haven't washed their garments in quite a while. And oh, by the way, thank you for the follow, Riverwood Chicken and Brain Beast Studios. Welcome to our little game. Thank you for those follows. They look like they haven't maybe laundered themselves in a while, whereas Marigold Brightshine and Valdi Estapar, clean, tidy, neat. But you don't see anything, no jewelry, no accessories, other than the holy symbol. I think I mentioned before it was a holy symbol to Lathander on a simple leather thong around Mary's neck, very small wooden holy symbol of Lathander.
Yeah. Tattoos, anything, earrings, jewelry.
No. These folk definitely look the part of hardworking, simple people out here trying to do the thing.
All right. Well, Jacob will lean into the table and do something maybe a little impolite. He'll take some of the oatmeal, smear it on the table, and then draw with his finger in the oatmeal the 3 lightning bolts and say, apologies for the mess. Y'all seen this anywhere recently?
And they all kind of lean forward and begin to look. Hang on. Goodness, excuse me. Let me do some things here. Griselda shakes her head. No. Marigold. That's Telos. That's the god of storms. What's that got to do with this? Didn't we see that on those robes? Yes, I'm sure I saw it because I was watching that priestess. She gets all excited and takes another draft of her.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of this.
Really, where?
Here, Wayside Inn, some of the creatures that attacked the last attempt to ship these goods to you.
Really?
It's showing up an awful lot. Talos's worshippers are definitely exerting their power along the Sword Coast, leastwise between Neverwinter and here.
Yes, that's not ideal, is it? She kind of looks at you. What do you know of Telos?
God of storms, brutal deity to be following.
Yes, destruction, discord, rebellion. Followers, brutal. That's a good word. Yes, this is troubling. And Yoram kind of leans forward and looks at the oatmeal lightning. Yeah, I was on them night fellers in the road when you showed
That's
up.
right.
Yeah, I recognize that.
Well, I'm wondering if you've seen it anywhere else before. And Jacob will just take a napkin or something and just sort of wipe the oatmeal up and pile it somewhere where it could be disposed of later.
Griselda kind of looks at you. So you think that attack on the road and down here at the waterfront, them's together? She kind of scritches her beard and kind of picks her teeth with a little metal pick that she's produced from somewhere in her chainmail and jerkin.
Seems likely. We haven't seen much of that except recently.
And what in the hells was that ugly woman doing down at the water? She kind of mimics, and Mary kind of rolls her eyes, and Valdi's like...
Did you see what came out of the water after she did that?
You mean she called that forth out of the swamp?
Yeah.
And Yoram's eyes get real big. I think it's good you all are here, because it's way out of our league. Me and my men.
Oh, the beating we took was almost out of our league. But
Marigold lowers his head. Bless you, Lathander, for keeping us whole and safe.
Sweet Mother
Bless your
Pearl, why
life.
is she praying to Lathander again?
And she just sits back and smiles. The Morning Lord has provided us with your saving strength, and we're so blessed. Carry on. Sorry.
Yeah. Lord Neverwinter actually sent us along here, but that's okay. I'm good. So, no, we're seeing a lot of the symbols and a lot of the worshippers of Talos coming up. It's a bit worrying if you're trying to reestablish yourself along the coast here.
Well, that storm was sure came upon us quickly and was gone just like that. That was strange. And Griselda's like nods her head, still smoking her pipe.
That was part of the ritual magic, I think.
It seemed pretty powerful.
Yeah, it seemed very powerful.
So what do we do? Is that did you kill it? Is it gone? And Griselda kind of looks at him like, "You idiot." Yeah. And then she looks back at you for your answer.
We need to get to the root of why Talos's followers are showing such an interest around here. Root them out. I don't think this is the end of it.
Well, we don't have nothing here. I mean, you can see that most of the town's still in ruins. The tower has barely been, started to be repaired. Now it sounds like, from what Yoram says, that's not going well.
Well, you're near the Mirror Dead Men, for one. And for something else, I'm thinking maybe that tower's got a bit more to it than what we know. there's probably something drawing these people in. And certainly they likely have an interest in the very small industry that you've already set up that's going to become something bigger when we get it all squared away and good and safe.
And you think it's the tower? I mean, if there's ghosts up there, I could go up there and see to it that that's taken care of, no problem. The light of the thunder will shine upon their unholy countenance and banish them.
Come up with us in the morning then.
I shall.
That's what we aim to look at.
It's a good time to do it.
We'll come by and wake you up the first thing in the morning.
Valdi kind of snickers. Yeah, I'll be out in the marsh. First catch. You don't want to miss sunrise on the marsh. It's beautiful.
How's Scylla working out, by the way?
Sips her wine. Oh, the new girl. She's nice. Yeah, she'll be fine. Thank you for bringing her. She said she came with you guys?
She did.
Yeah,
she
from the wayside, right?
That's right. She was very eager to meet you.
She said you had some excitement at the wayside. Seems like excitement follows you people around. Maybe you're the ones we need to be concerned about. And Griselda kind of growls at her like,
"That's fine.
Only were that easy."
I don't do much with raising up animated corpses of giants and wraiths. However, not much into that.
She kind of sits back looking at you suspiciously. Well, good. But I will not be available to storm any ghost towers. And Yorm just kind of looks at her. We didn't expect you to there, Valdi. Your expertise is needed on the water, he says, sort of a patronizing tone.
Yeah. You are the heart of commerce, Valdi.
And food.
Worry not. We're soul.
We're already catching more than we can eat, and we've already shipped fish north and south.
That's good. Good commerce.
The Wayside Inn is looking to get more supplies if you're able to send things that way.
Griselda looks up. Is that right? Tell me more about that.
They're looking to expand their, I guess, whatever marketplace they're adding to their own establishment. So you may hear more things about things that they're looking for.
Yeah, I think they're looking to add some fish to the menu.
Valdi's eyes kind of brighten up. So Griselda kind of scratches her chin.
We also have some contacts in Phandalin. It's not a big town, but they'd probably be interested in your wares as well.
Phandalin.
Giant dragon head in their inn.
You talked to Martisha over there at the Wayside. Is that she tell you that she wants trade with us?
Yes, she did say that.
I see. And Bacchus? Is he still there, that bartender?
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. Well, that'd be good, right? Yeah, that'd be good. She kind of grunts and leans back, thinking, as she puffs away on her pipe. Phandalin. She sits bolt upright. Somebody said Phandalin.
Hey.
You know where that is?
Absolutely. We came from there.
Well, I thought you come from Neverwinter.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Hey.
Yes.
Might have a bit of work to be done where Phandalin's concerned. What to talk about that? We have a goat herder here in town. And she could maybe use some help getting her goats over to Phandalin. Pinchwit Wigglehoof is her name. Yeah, she's a gnome, great goat herder. She's got a
Wigglewoof?
Pinchwit Wigglehoof. I know, gnomes. She kind of rolls her eyes. We call her Pinchy. She's got to run that herd of goats of hers over to what's that? Barthen. Apparently he working a deal from.
So he's going to get her goat.
Oof.
I suppose he is. None of my business, mind you, but she may need some help getting to Phandalin and back safe. Especially if there's these lightning people or whatever out there, Talos, you say, causing problems. Aye. Yeah. Might be something worth looking into in the next few days. These goats, you should see them. They're huge. They're like small horses. She pastures them south of town. Noisy bunch. But I bet they're good eating.
Well, if they're as large as you say they are, they'd be good eating for the town.
Yeah.
Imagine she breeds them.
I believe she has something arranged there with that Barthen fellow over there. He's got people in Waterdeep that apparently want a few of these goats, so she'll need some help. We'll talk about that. But for pressing matter, what do you think this is it for these lightning people? What do you think? And she looks over at Yoram and kind of looks around the table.
Well, we have to find out. We need to find the source of the troubles. Lestwise, they could keep coming.
You think they're from that damn swamp down there?
Might be.
I've never been in there. Don't mean to go, but I've heard it's nasty.
Don't recommend it.
What took you in there?
I was traveling.
Yoram kind of looks at you, probably stupidity. Why the hell would you go in there?
Have you never had an insatiable curiosity, son?
I kind of shoot him a glance, like, don't insult Jacob. Like
he's kind of oblivious to you, like he sees you, and then you say insatiable, and his brow furrows, and he looks at you like, I'm not sure what you mean, little man.
You ever been afraid?
Oh, no. I'm a militiaman of Neverwinter. Of course I've never been afraid. He kind of sits up and kind of lets his hand fall to the hilt of his longsword, and his chainmail kind of rattles a little bit. And Griselda just kind of, she's like...
I glance at Yodi.
Yeah, Yodi's like, is that right? Because from what I've seen out there, Yodi the dwarf pipes up, you were plenty afraid this afternoon. I told you I was tending to the people of Leilon, protecting them, covering their flank, as a matter of fact. He clears his throat and looks down and starts drinking from his tankard. And
mostly saw your flank, that's for sure.
Coyote leans back and, I know what you were doing.
Anyway, I'm generally interested in things that most people are terrified of, because there's always opportunity.
Oh, why is
Sometimes
that? Valdi sits forward and fills her wine glass. Why is that?
Why is that? Because usually that means there's something else that someone else has left behind that's worth keeping.
Aye. Well, that certainly makes you an adventurer then, doesn't it?
Well,
Comfortable on the road more so than at the hearth, I would guess.
Yeah.
Is that the same for the lot of you? She kind of asks, looking at everybody.
Just kind of gesture.
I go where the work is.
Yeah. It's a good way to go. That's what I do. Work's here. Fish are here. In fact, she kind of yawns. I got to be up before the sun, so if there's nothing going to be decided with this little get-together, I think I'm gonna call it a night and head back to camp. And Griselda nods. Yoram doesn't really acknowledge her. Have a good night, Valdi. Be careful going back to camp. She drains her wine glass, and nods, and takes her leave. Go ahead, sorry.
I don't know if what needed deciding.
Well,
We're
I'd like to know where we go from here. What's your? Tell us a little bit about your purpose. You said you came to guard that caravan.
yeah, and
But-
we're here.
It's here, and it's guarded, and we thank you for that. And we thank you And we'd love to
Well,
have you stay.
We just got here, so we're just sort of looking, and as you say, we're adventurers. We're free agents about the area. So, as has been indicated, what needs doing? You've said that your giggle hoof friend needs to get some goats to Fandolin. Sorry, Wigglehoof.
Wigglehoof. Pitchy.
Yes.
Pinchy.
Pinchy. And of course, we find a terrible interest, at least I do, in this tower and ghosts.
Yeah, ghosts. And she kind of rolls her eyes at Yoram, and
don't.
I mean, we wouldn't stop you from looking into that if you really want to. I doubt it's nothing more than bats and raccoons, but
well, we'll find out. We certainly found one raccoon that scared one of our members some.
Hey, there's some big ones. Where have you decided where you're gonna set up shop? Are you gonna stay a while? First of all, I get ahead of myself. I assume you're gonna stay more than just a night or a day or two, right?
Well,
There'd be
depends
plenty.
on what needs to be done.
There'd be plenty for you to do here. And I know I'd sleep much better knowing you were in the area to keep us well guarded. And she looks over at Yoram, and he kind of gets this look like, what? On his face.
Well, we can certainly work with the local constabulary. No problem with that.
I'd say they sent us a bunch of drunkards and louts, and I'm still not sure what old Yoram here is up to. And he just looks like innocent, like
He's leading by example.
it's not like I was that thrilled about the assignment, I can tell you that. And he kind of glares at Griselda.
Well, there seems to be some things for us to do here. What think you? The rest of you. We stay? Do we go? I mean, we only just got here. Or a bit beat up.
I'm all for sticking around a little while. I was going to meet the wizard in the morning after a nice long rest.
So you're going to check that tower out tomorrow, huh? That's a good place to start. We got to get that thing built, under roof, patched up. It's going to be our garrison, our lookout. That's where Yoram and his crew were going to do their business out of there. Get that wizard on his way.
Ezralyn, what say you?
I go where the work is. I think there's work here. So.
That there is. And Iodi just kind of nods her head. She's been pretty quiet. She's gotten up for plate refills twice. Heaping plate, dropping food between the table and this table. Nods and grunts here and there. Seems to be in agreement with where things look to be headed. Did you find anywhere you were going to set up your camp? And Yoram's like, yes, I do need to know your whereabouts so that we don't have any concerns, and we know where you are so that we can help you, stay safe and whatnot.
Yeah, there's a nice little tower with a broken dome that's not too far from here.
Yeah.
We've been able to do a bit of cleaning and find it quite amenable to our needs.
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, and she looks at Mary and Yoram. As far as I'm concerned, make yourselves at home, as long as you need to. We'd love to have you. Isn't that right? She kind of cajoles, Yoram. He's like, yeah, we could probably use some help. And Mary, Marigold, Brightshine smiles. Yes, we are indebted to your service. We're happy you're here, and I know myself, I'll rest well, knowing that we have this additional protection. And she kind of side-eyes Yoram.
Don't give Yoram too hard a time. I'm sure in a good press he'll hold forth.
I can hold my own. I think I demonstrated that very clearly. And Iodi kind of snorts.
Nonetheless, it looks like we've got a plan for the morrow. Thank you, at least I'll say for my part, for the food. Anything else my compatriots need to discuss? I think all of our weary bones need a bit of a rest.
It occurs to you as you're sitting there talking, you've got Ioti. Is it Ioti? Eoti. Ioti? You have Ioti the dwarf with you. You've got Ezra. You have Tanner. You have Jacob. You have Von Volt. But it occurs to you that as you look around, your wizard is missing. Where has Ethan got to, you wonder?
I cast Fireball.
Mind spiking.
See, that's how you get a foul in a volleyball tournament.
Mind spike. Yeah, I see what you did there.
Oof.
Yeah, your diviner, Ethan, the Oracle of Savras, is not at the table. It just occurred to you. You've been so busy messing around, getting things organized at your new abode. You've participated in the Council of Leilon, and the young man from Waterdeep is nowhere to be found.
When did we last see him?
Docks.
Yeah, he was part of the battle with the Berserkers, the Priestess, the Water Elementals. But there was a lot of uproar, furor, chaos, water, death, injury, and none of you recall precisely seeing him with the party afterwards.
Yeah, Voffel makes it a point to always guard Ethan. So, but if he sneaks off, there's not much you can do about it.
Right.
So,
Yeah, did he die?
not on my watch, but
No, he would have made more noise.
that does sound right. Maybe his tower is just poked up around town. I'm sure it's
Yeah, we'll have to
fine.
look around for the asshole tower.
He always knows when to pop back up.
The asshole tower. That's great. The Tower of Assholery.
Thank you. I couldn't remember that one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tower of great humility.
Yeah, your diviner is not at the table. And it occurs to you, you have not seen Ethan since combat. Since the chaos of combat. And it also occurs to you, you've been sitting here for a couple of hours, whiling away the evening. It has gotten dark. The candlelight and a couple of torches and sconces are all that illuminate the space in the upper open loft area of Fishery Building 1. And you can hear the gulls circling over the marsh in the quiet evening as everyone sits for a minute thinking, like, where did we see Ethan last?
Down by the water.
And you all did pull all the bodies together, if you recall. In fact, didn't somebody burn them? Did you guys light a pyre, or was that another? Oh, that was up at the inn.
Yeah, that was the
you
road.
burned up all the ogres and the zombies and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, we did go through these bodies though for the weird arrows and all that stuff.
Yeah,
all
there was no sign of Ethan's body among the dead.
I was with Ethan up until the end of the fight.
Yeah. And that's what strikes you as odd, is you were with Ethan up until the end of the fight, and then everybody got consumed with the aftermath of that, and he's just not around.
Maybe he's
Ezra's
off
actually
trying
starting to
to,
get a bit worried now.
maybe he's off trying to find those kids that disappeared. Of course, we did find them, so
Oh yes, the kids, they're found. Yes, they're all safe with their families, and everyone's back. We will be having services for the 2 soldiers and the local person who was killed. But yes, Yes, everyone else is present and accounted for, except apparently your young friend. What is his name? He said something
Ethan.
about a miracle of something.
No, he's
Salad.
a
The
miracle.
Oracle of Savras.
Wait. The Oracle of
Yes,
Savra.
the dead god of
What is this?
divinity and knowledge.
Oh, I hadn't. Okay. Yes. Well, we studied so many other deities and divinity, but one true god, Lathander. Okay. I'm sure he's fine.
We'll leave a light on for him. I'm sure if anyone could
nothing.
figure out where we were, it'd be him.
Well, he is a diviner.
Exactly.
You could almost foresee that.
Well, okay. If there's nothing more, then perhaps we should adjourn the Council of Leilon for tonight. And it sounds like tomorrow then will be a busy day looking into what has happened, the tower, and I'll speak with Pinchy about her goat. Excuse me, her goat herding needs.
Right.
Yes.
Herding goats.
And grab some leftovers for the road.
Yeah, Iote's already over there filling her pockets.
Yep.
And a sack.
Some of that bread.
And another sack.
Have a weekend for breakfast in the morning. Go back to our new base.
Yeah. Leave some leftovers for the citizens, eh? Thank you very much for your kind accommodation and food.
Well, thank you for coming. Boy, you really, really helped us. And you can tell she kind of has trouble saying thank you. You know, she's gruff and rough, albeit decent enough person, but definitely, you know, a tradesperson, a carpenter or, you know, stonemason, something, you know, along those lines.
Yep. And with that, Jacob will pop on his goggles and head out into the night.
Yeah, Vonvold to do his noble courtesy and get out of there. Follow Jacob.
Okay. Yeah, and Griselda and Yoram also take their leave with Mary. And there were a couple of guards outside the door downstairs, and Yoram stops to have a conversation with them, and Griselda and Mary heads presumably back to the Temple of Lathander. It's dark, but it's a very, very, very clear night. Lots of starlight, moonlight, which is weird because you had this incredible storms earlier, and yet here it has been this crystal clear day.
As we're walking away from Sergeant Boredom and the two guards, when we're just to the point of being out of earshot, I'm going to turn to Von Felt and say, do you think we should have mentioned the vampires that we saw as we just continue away from them?
No response.
Sleep well, soldiers.
Gonna glance over my shoulder, but keep walking.
Yeah, one of them's looking at you guys with this look like kind of what kind of look. Yeah. All right, so where is the company of the Looming Eye headed? It is probably 8:30. It has gotten dark, maybe even 9 o'clock. What would you like to do?
Ezra's going back to the base and passing out.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do the same.
Okay. So back to the looks like an observatory almost, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So easily enough, you go up the boardwalk and it's kind of right there. It's not far from the fishery at all. You can smell smoke, wood smoke from fires coming from the south. You know that to be the area where the settlement camp is for the people, most of the people who've come to rebuild Leilon. Marigold has a staff, and it's lit at the end with a bright light, and she's making her way through the ruins to the Temple of Lathander, the little stone structure at the base of the tower. You can see there's windows, west-facing, south-facing. You're not at the proper angle to see if there are north-facing windows in the tower, the House of Thalavar. But the second story, I think it's the second story, are illuminated.
Yeah. Enough.
Illuminated torchlight or
Some sort of
other
light source is in there. Hard telling from here. So you head back to the building, and it is quite dark inside.
You light a torch.
Okay.
Move about. Put a couple of torches in sconces if there are any, and put them out when people are ready to go to sleep.
Okay. Yeah. So you get in there and set about making yourselves comfortable for the evening. Anything you wish to do or role play?
What was it specifically that we're not supposed to tell them about our role from Neverwinter?
That we're spying on them.
But if they do ask, what do we tell them? That we're just here to hang out, or
Well, we were guarding a caravan to come down, and we've decided to stay a spell and see if there's any opportunities for us to make some money.
that we don't tell them that we're reporting back to the Lord of Neverwinter.
You are correct, Sarah.
That's the only thing.
That's the most important thing not to tell them.
Okay. Just making sure. I wasn't certain during the meeting, so I didn't want to say too much. So.
Yeah, Lord Neverember didn't give you like a specific reason other than to keep just like what's happening down there, and maybe find a way to send word occasionally and just be his eyes. It's almost as if maybe he's curious or distrustful.
I got the read that he didn't trust that his investments were being used well to accomplish the goals he had hoped for.
Yeah, something there concerns him. Yeah, but he did not divulge specifically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vonvol's just changing and patching up. See if you can sleep off some of these scratches.
Yeah, and you've got a nice. It is cooled off. In those open windows, there's actually a little breeze that comes through, and you can definitely find a corner in each of those rooms. Put out whatever you use to sleep on and do your thing. Are you going to have fire in the hearth or anything, or?
How cold's the night feeling?
Not particularly chilly. It's still late summer. It's a little cooler here the closer you get to the Sea of Swords. You're probably 9-10 miles inland, but all of that expanse between you and the actual proper open water is marshy, with pockets of open water, so wind can come right across, and it's definitely cooler here than it is well inland, say, in Phandalin.
It might help it dry off a little bit too.
Yeah. We'll put a low fire in the hearth.
Okay. There's enough, wood and debris around the dwelling itself. Even across the street from it, you can see there's a second story of some kind of a building that's like demolished, and there's, wood and crap everywhere. So you could easily, with that debris, have enough, dry wood to make yourselves a fire in the hearth.
Hopefully the flue isn't filled with sturges. So
Or raccoons.
Yeah.
or raccoons.
Yeah, well, and good news, as you get the fire going, you can see there's definite positive airflow going out the flue. So you could tell it could probably be better, but it's not blocked.
That's a victory. I'll take
Yeah,
that.
yeah. The DM will throw you a little bone here at the end of things. Yeah.
We've cleared out so many chimneys and had to fight so many chimney monsters.
Yeah. Yeah. And the hearth is totally not a mimic, so that's cool. Just crawl up in there and have a look up that flue. Yeah. Okay, well, that seems like a good enough spot to end our tale for tonight. I don't want to, it's gotten late enough. I don't think we want to start into anything. You've got some choices to make as far as activities. Seems there's something goofy happening over at the House of Thalavar, the tower that's being reconstructed. You have the opportunity at some point in the near future to return to Phandalin if you wish and accompany Pinchy and her milk goats to Phandalin for some sort of deal making. And goodness knows what else will, befall you while you're in Leilon. So welcome to town. Nice to have a calm session without almost dying for a change. Yeah. Excellent. Good. All right.
Can we mash the long rest button?
Yeah, go ahead and hit long rest so that when we start next session, we will start in the morning with you awakening and being long rested. Yeah, let's definitely do that. So, and beyond that, that's what we've got for our session tonight. So I'd like to thank all of our viewers for hanging out. Diamond Anvil, good to see you again. Thanks for bouncing in. Thanks to our new friends here, Iron Glove and Riverwood Chicken, Brain Beast Studios. Thanks for hanging out. Saw some other friends out there in chat, so that's wonderful. We'll probably go ahead and raid here at the end, but let's go around and just some quick outros. Tell us, who you are, where we can find you, that sort of thing. And we'll start with ladies first, Ezralyn.
Hi, I am Kayla, also known as Miss Misery. I only really play here, and I'm active in Wiley's Discord. You can find me on Twitter at Miss_Misery_. That's about it for me.
Excellent. Very good. Jacob Everfleet.
Hey, folks. I'm Dave. Hey, Wilson on the social medias. I play Jacob Everfleet, the halfling cleric trickster cleric. Well, and on Monday nights on the same Batty channel at 7:30 p.m., I also play another character, Viz, the fighter, who's also a fairy. And you can join us on Mondays, although I think this Monday we may not be.
I think that's right. Yeah, I know I cannot play on Monday the 8th unless my schedule changes.
So we'll see you on, but certainly in a week, Wednesday, we will be, I hope, playing another game of mysteries, or not mysteries.
Dragon by Spire Peak. Excellent. Very nice. And for the record, we are going to raid into Lord Gazumba, who happens to have Darlene of Darlene's Greyhawk map fame. She's the one that did the big hex map for the Greyhawk box in 1983. Ooh. And she is on the Legends and Lore, so we're going to raid into that, so stick around. Let's keep going around here. Tanner, what's up, my man? Where can we find you, bud?
Well, again, I'm Carl, Carnage on Wiley's Discord. I am here every Wednesday night, and it's Wednesday night that we don't play. I just sit here and stare at my computer.
It's a sad existence. Yeah. All right, good. And then finally, Von Fault Hype here.
Yeah, I am Matt, Dungeon Glitch on the online, primarily Twitter. This is the only place I play, so every Wednesday. I own Gem Firefly. We make nerdy t-shirts. I'm not wearing one now. I'm wearing the Brain Beast t-shirt for my buddy Sean, who I think showed up. So, Carl.
I'm trying to show it off. Camera's not working.
One of my favorites. This is how I roll. Natural one. So
it's awesome.
So true. Yeah. It's a fun hobby that we make shirts, and much of the profits go to charities.
Nice.
So
nice.
It's great.
Good, good, good. Awesome. I've dropped it's Gemmed Firefly, correct?
That is it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I dropped that in chat, so go check that out.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, very good. So thanks, players, so much. So cool to hang out with you for a couple of hours and escape and play pretend. So I'm Wily Hobbit. I'm your host. This is our channel. We're certainly glad you're here. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. We did put the Discord, so if you need a place to hang out between shows and chill with a bunch of cool nerds in a very chillaxy sort of environment, that's us. And we're going to raid into, again, Lord Gazumba, who's a Greyhawk, one of the anchors of the Greyhawk community of online D&D, the original setting for Dungeons & Dragons, and they're interviewing Darlene. So we will get that raid started. I've hit the start raid button, so let the magic happen. So thanks for hanging out, and we will see you next time with another session of Dragon of Icespire Peak.